take one round of questions, 2 questions, and then we move to the next presentation. So questions or comments?
Thank you very much for that insightful presentation. Just thinking back to Lillian's talk, that she showed us the photos from the RC and the resistance they're facing with the Ebola intervention. Which part of the population do you think was not engaged? When you talked about knowing your target population, so where do you think the Ebola response was a failure? And I ask this for those of us who work in the community. So thinking about engaging communities, which are these target populations, so that we don't get into such situations where we have research products that we want to.
Okay, thank you very much. With the Ebola case, really, unfortunately, I guess life is just like that. We've found ourselves in a situation where there's an emergency and you have to think from your feet. And at that point in time, solutions are just coming, rolling all over. But I guess maybe what misses is an intervention program that they need to create with the community. Start from the beginning, create an intervention program to say we want, and take representatives of communities and say, I mean, these are just my thoughts. And I'm thinking the things that would work would be from the beginning by creating that intervention program, identifying community leaders, identifying thought leaders, and bringing them in one table and say, we are going to design a method that works for you. And based on this, this is actually the issue. And I would like to liken the issue of Ebola with HIV. I don't know, in Botswana when HIV was still new, I think in the 1990s, there were a lot of myths and misconceptions about the subject. A lot of people were saying, oh, you know, if you lose your husband and you don't go through a proper traditional cleansing ceremony or something, it means you are going to get that sickness. It was seen as something that the gods somehow didn't like. So, such misconceptions carried on until people started being engaged. But I'm saying this because recently there's a project that we are trying to create in one village, and we are approaching the chief, and she said to us, look, when you guys were bringing your interventions, you, the scientists, such as the PEPFAR, you didn't involve us. You didn't involve us. That is why you always get resistance. But we have really good programs as communities, like the initiation ceremonies, where we are teaching men and women how to be responsible. We could start transacting those. Such programs in every communities, and in every African community, I think there are such leaders and such programs, community ways and norms. So I think we really should take advantage of them.
Sorry, I would just like to supplement to what Abraham has said in response to the question she's asked. So, I would like to say that when you're dealing with communities or publics, there is no particular formula. It's not black and white, because communities are dynamic. You know, and what is happening in one community could affect another, or could happen in another community, but how you deal with it might be different. So it's important for you to really dissect who your audiences are. If you do an audience analysis and try and list who would be your potential allies and who could be your potential foes, or who would be antagonistic to whatever you're trying to do, and who could be your supporters, and have an entire list, and then determine who is likely to majorly impact your work. Then you deal with those in different levels of intensity. You know, how you deal with the one who is likely to be heavily impactful negatively on the project will not be the same as how you deal with the one who is supporting. The level of testing will vary. So the key here is identify who your audience is. Once you're clear with that, then you will be really in a good space to have engaged at least the majority of those who will impact or who you might impact as a result of your work. But also one thing that we fail to do is that we don't learn from past experiences. Uganda is one of those countries that has effectively dealt with Ebola. But I'm not sure how many researchers or scientists or medics from DRC have actually come to tap into the expertise, the wealth of knowledge that is just next door here in Uganda. So also being able to, for the people in the field to know, when you're dealing with this situation, has it happened elsewhere? And if it has, how did they deal with it? What were the best practices that we can be able to pick and either replicate or adapt to a local context? I think that would be very helpful in dealing with some of these issues.
Take one last question.
This is Jonathan Maito, Drive 2. I have one question. My question is that does all research work, all research projects, do they need public engagement and or community engagement for that reason? For instance, basic science work, research project, someone that loves looking at a certain body cell or bacteria, and those results will not immediately jump into application in the community, but probably maybe later on picked up by another scientist doing clinical science. That's when application will go into the community. So, or if I put it the other way around, when should mention that engagement should begin right on? But is that the case for certain basic science?
Thank you. I really think it's every research really. And take for instance the H3. I'm not sure if you are aware of the H3 Africa project, which is a genomic sequencing project. We are aware that what may emerge about maybe targeted medicine is not going to be anytime soon, probably, I think. But the process for people to understand genetics is quite important, because somehow there's been a way that African, when it comes to genes, we understand it. We understand it through looks, we understand it through behavior. In Uganda, you've been doing it through your cattle. Is it Angole cattle? Yes. So, that kind, for people to start understanding these things, research results is a process too. Some of the things that can emerge can start benefiting the community right in your process while you are studying the cell. And before you even reach the ultimate goal of the research. So you can imagine now, if people understand genetics, what it will benefit the Angole cattle industry now from understanding genetics and understanding how sicknesses are transferred. Maybe it's in the sickle cell, even get to targeted medicine. So I think even basic research should also be pushed to the basic elementary studies such as schools. Like one project that we are doing on Genome Adventures, it was called Genome Adventures. It was H3 Africa. We started educating, taking comic books into schools. Guess what? They now started understanding genes better than they were when they were using textbooks. Now they started understanding genetics from the analogy that we are putting on comic books, understanding that is it lysosome? Excuse my French in scientific terms. That it's more like a recycling plant. So likening these things, these analogies now started shedding some little light to basic education.
Thanks, Abraham. I just want to give a short experience. I know a lot of basic scientists, battle with this issue. But I want to say something. When you are in your lab at your bench, looking at your cells or whatever, plasma, whatever, do you ever ask yourself, where did these samples come from? Do you? Do I have some basic scientists? Do you ever ask yourself where these samples come from? Do you ever take time to just accompany maybe a community engagement or community liaison officer to go and just sit and listen? Right? Do you? So what I'm trying to drive at is, whether you're a basic scientist, whether you are an implementation researcher, at one point or another, it's always valuable to understand how communities impact science and how science impacts communities. You may not necessarily be out there being the person doing what Abraham was talking about, identifying the graffiti artists and having them do these concepts. But as a basic scientist, it would be interesting for you, if I were one, to just ask, how does one individual who is not being paid money decide to say, I'm willing to give a sample to you to study in your lab? What does this individual go through to get those samples? And if a sample got spoiled, what would it take to get another sample? And what would it take, or how do these people feel if we ask them to store their samples indefinitely for unknown future research? These are things that I think would be interesting for basic scientists to try and understand and internalize and appreciate, for them to understand what happens if your work at the bench is going to impact the person in the community. So just get that thinking. You don't have to be the person directly implementing, but I think it's always important to just be able to appreciate what it takes to get everything that makes research become research.
I think we move to the next session.
This one.
We'll have time at the end and then I'll give you more time. It's still the same presenter. So we move to CP, and if you have additional questions you can ask at the end of this.